Hey Rob, how are you doing? Hello Rob, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I sure can. How did your meeting go tonight?
It was good. It was a sparse crowd, but uh, we worked it out.
All right,
We have somebody that's probably going to join over the next few days.
fantastic.
We started doing this thing where we can invoice members or even guests, where we can just send them an invoice and they can pay online, which is really cool.
Are they using PayPal then?
PayPal? No, I don't know what it is exactly, but you get the invoice, click on it, you go to it, type in your card information, and so it probably has to do with the bank. It's probably some a bank application of some sort.
Excellent. That's great news.
Yes.
So, any club members log in to Pathways and start?
No, other than me, at least not that I'm aware of. Nobody at the meeting tonight had.
Nobody. Okay. All right.
You know,
And no new members since Pathways has rolled out.
no, no, not since Pathways has rolled out. Hopefully, this person tonight. Hopefully, we'll get her in and before next meeting. So.
Okay. All right. Did you have any difficulty explaining to this new member about the Pathways program?
Well, they're not quite there yet, but I've been explaining. They were here last week and this week, and I explained last week. I gave a short speech, and I think I said that to you regarding getting on the website and logging in and just exploring.
Okay.
And then tonight, I just reiterated for people to do that. So it's tough right now. I'm trying to be our sergeant at arms, as much as I can, our VP of education, and then the VP of membership, and it's a lot of stuff to do.
That is a lot to do.
But
Absolutely. No doubt about it.
as well as kind of mentoring our president to some extent.
All right.
But that's part of life.
That is absolutely. Well, I'm happy to report that our Pathways rollout kits finally arrived.
Excellent.
Yes, these were the kits that we promised to bring to you during our club visit
Right.
last month, basically.
Yeah.
Anyways, they just arrived, and I will have to make arrangements to getting it to your club. I have the kit, and I can tell you inside the kit you'll have a copy of the Navigator, which I'm sure you've seen online.
Yes.
Because you've logged into your own path.
Yes.
And the Navigator hard copy you can keep with your stuff.
Sorry. I apologize.
Wow, that's great. What was that?
I'm just in the restaurant, so they're kind of cleaning up around me. It'll last another minute, maybe.
All right, I'm going to admit somebody else.
Okay.
See who else we have here. And I'm going to mute you for a moment, Rob.
Yes.
Hello, Bob? Oh, Bob, maybe you don't have a microphone. I'm not sure. Maybe you're just listening in, and that's fine. All right. Well, there's another individual on with us,
Okay.
but it doesn't look like he has the ability to contribute. Yeah, right. To contribute to the conversation. So anyways, as I was saying, the Pathways kit has a hard copy of the Navigator, which you can keep with your meeting stuff, and then that would be a great guide to just have as a reference material for new members or potential guests who are asking about Toastmasters, it has a description of all of the officer roles. It has a description of all the meeting rules. So it would be nice to just have at the meeting in case people have questions.
Sure.
As some of the basic stuff. The other thing too that comes with the kit is a handout. One side of the handout has the information, the 1, 2, 3 step for logging on to the Toastmasters International website.
Okay, great.
And getting logged on to Pathways. And then the other side has a list of all of the benefits of the traditional program and the Pathways program. So this little handout you could also use to give to potential new members.
Yes, right.
And then the other thing that comes in the kit are 3 Pathways pens. Now,
for the big 3.
Yes, well, actually, what they recommend is that the Pathways pen, one of them will go to the VP of Education because they're taking on this task of helping everybody get involved in the program. And then the other 2 Pathways pens you actually award to any individual who completes the first level.
Okay.
So your first 2 members who make it through level 1, you would award them the Pathways pen.
Excellent.
So there's a total of 3 pens. One is supposed to be for the VP of Education, which I assume you could take since you're doing multiple roles. And then the other 2 you're supposed to award to the person, the people in your club who finished their level 1 first.
That's great.
Now, if you wanted to do something else, you can. They're yours to dole out how you like. The last item that's in the kit is a USB device. And on the USB device, there are 4 items. Your new member application, which I don't know if you've printed off any membership applications, but they have changed. Have you printed off the new one?
I think so. I think it's new. But if you want to open that up, I can tell you.
Yes. So the new member application actually does have a section on there talking about the path. It says here, paid only by new members. This fee covers the cost of the first education path, online copy of the Navigator, and processing. Whereas the last one, the last application talked about receiving your new member kit, right? Which included the competent communicator and the competent leader. So you'll definitely want to copy or print off a couple pages of these new member application and have them available at your meetings so that a new potential member would have the most up-to-date information.
Sounds good.
So the good news is that it is available on the thumb drive that I will give you. Also on the thumb drive is the quick start guide that I was just talking about. It actually has 2 sides to it. One side lists the benefits of the traditional program and then plus the Pathways program. So
excellent.
And then the other side is logging on to the Toastmasters International website.
Wonderful.
The Navigator, obviously you'll have an electronic copy, and everybody will have access to the Navigator once they get logged on to Pathways, but this is a nice additional feature that you could possibly put on your website.
Yes.
So that people have access to that information. And then the last thing is a video. This is the video that we may have showed in your Pathways Club visit. It is available on the Toastmasters International website, but they also provided a copy of it here on the thumb drive in your Pathways kit. So
we didn't have audio, so we skipped that, I think, that day.
Okay, so well, you might actually enjoy watching that. You might want to do a speech on it if you want.
Yeah.
Include that there. It's a very short speech. So let me ask you, when would be a good time for us to get together to give you this Pathways kit?
Best time? Well, I mean, it depends on if you want to talk about it at all, then you could come to one of our meetings. If it's just a matter of transferring it over, a meeting is fine, or I'm happy to come and meet or get it from you somewhere. That's fine as well.
All right. Well, so the only issue with going going to your meeting. I thought about going to your meeting tonight, but the only problem with that is that I have to host these sessions.
Sure. No, absolutely. I understand that. Understand that. Yeah.
So
So,
I know that they have Wi-Fi, but I'm not sure how much bandwidth they have for supporting multiple people.
exactly. Yeah, it's hard for me to tell that, but yeah, I
So that,
understand that. So I'm happy to, at some point, meet you somewhere or come out. And it's not a big deal for me to drive wherever. I don't know where you're located. If you want me to come out and get it from you, that's fine.
all right. I was
Not a big
curious,
deal.
will you be doing any of the area contests or TLI sessions this weekend?
I will probably be at least some of the area contests. But beyond, I don't know when or where. I can't remember. Our area that I'm in, Area 33, I believe that contest is either the 9th or the 10th
Okay.
of March.
All right. Well,
I can't remember where exactly they are at this time. I want to say Eastfield College.
okay. All right. Well, it might be a possibility to get it to you at that point. All right. Well, we'll definitely take a look at that so that we can,
Okay. Yeah.
help get that kit to you guys as soon as possible.
Sure.
All right. The other, let me go ahead and close this out. I'll hold on to that. All right. The other thing I wanted to cover tonight was a couple of the questions that have been coming in. I've posted them on the Pathways page, but I did want to cover them because they were recent questions asked. One of them was in regards to new members showing up and specifically about marketing to new members. And the person was asking, do we have anything that basically describes pathways to new members? Obviously, there's the introductory web page that Toastmasters International puts out, so you could actually direct them to the Toastmasters International website and specifically to the Pathways page.
Okay. Yeah.
Where they can read about the Pathways program, they can watch the videos, they can actually sample the Icebreaker project. That's obviously an option available to them. The other thing that you have available to you as well, on Toastmasters International, they have a marketing area, a resource library with brochures and flyers, and 2 flyers that they have specifically address pathways. I posted them here, but you can also get them from the Toastmasters International website. So these flyers would be a good way to advertise about the Pathways program if you are looking for specific things that highlight the benefits of Pathways to a new member that's coming in. And this might be helpful to some of your old school members that aren't on Pathways yet, and that was part of the reason why this question came up. Our VP of membership hasn't logged in to the Pathways program yet, and he was trying to explain to the new members about it, but he himself hadn't experienced it. So he was like, how do I tell people about this? I don't know what to tell them. And so I sent him these 2 documents.
Great.
He could share that with them, and he did. He forwarded those 2 documents that had a list of some of the benefits. But the great thing is that the Pathway Kit also has a list of those benefits. Another question that came up was, in a lot of Toastmasters clubs, the Toastmaster will ask the evaluator to stand up and read the speaker objectives prior to the speaker being invited up to give their speech. Do you guys do that?
We do.
You do. So obviously, with the new format, we don't have a book. Instead, your evaluator is responsible for either printing off the evaluation form and bringing a hard copy with them, or your speaker could do the same thing. Print off the evaluation form, bring it with them, and hand it to the evaluator. Or the evaluator could actually fill out the form electronically on whatever tablet or device they have. The evaluation form has some basic information about the project, and they can read that directly from the evaluation form. So for instance, I have a screenshot here of the evaluation form for the Icebreaker, which is the first project in every single path that's out there. And it has the speech length, 4 to 6 minutes. It also has a purpose statement. The purpose of this project is for the member to introduce himself or herself to the club and learn the basic structure of the public speech. So they could just read the purpose statement. They could also read the notes for the evaluator, which kind of talks about the goals of of the evaluation.
Yeah.
So that was something that came up recently as well, is that this information is a little bit more scaled down than it was previously in the Competent Communicator Manual, but it is still available directly on the evaluation form. You
Great.
can also look on the project checklist. I'm going to go to the icebreaker. Has 3 documents, and one of them is the speech outline, the evaluation, and then the project checklist, which is also a document that could be used because it has the purpose, the
Right.
overview, what is the person trying to do, what are they trying to accomplish. So this would be another option that the evaluator could technically read in
Right.
the meeting. So those were 2 things that came up this past week from members in the club.
Excellent.
We have recovered that. All right. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was printing certificates. Now, I'm guessing that, are you actually actively going to be working through the Pathways program, or have you simply just logged on just to kind of check it out and see what's available?
No, I will be working through it. How much over the next 3 or 4 months, I don't know. I'm trying to finish my CC for my club, just to add that for our DCP points, and
Sure.
and then I want to finish my ACS.
Mm-hmm.
So until, probably this stuff I'm hoping to get done by the end of this session.
Okay.
So after that, I'll be a little bit more involved, but I'll probably try to at least give my icebreaker speech, and who knows, maybe something else, from there, to try to, one, get experience so that I know what I'm talking about.
Right.
And it's a little bit easier to explain to new members and help them along their way at the beginning.
Right. Okay. All right, well, so one thing that will happen probably is, it sounds like some of your new members who might join might actually surpass you in completing a level.
They can, maybe, yes.
When you're
It might motivate me to prevent that, but
right, absolutely. But it sounds like you have a lot on your plate, so
yeah,
that might happen.
yeah.
It's okay if it does. I'm kind of curious, does your VP of Education or your president stand up and present a certificate to an individual who has completed their competent communicator, or?
Yes.
They
Yes.
do, okay.
Yeah.
So one of the really nice features is that as people complete the different levels, so there are 5 levels in a path, as they complete the different levels, they will be given a certificate. It's an electronic copy and it shows up in their transcript, but it is something the VP of Education, well, all the Basecamp managers can access. So that means your president, your secretary, and your VP of Education can all access it through logging on to the Basecamp manager dashboard and then going into the person's portfolio, and they can actually see the certificate in the electronic form, print it off, and then bring it and present it to the individual. You don't have to wait. You don't have to create your own certificate. There'll be one available. And I was just going to walk you through the process of doing that. Now, in our club, nobody has actually completed a level yet, so you won't see the certificate option available, but I'll show you where it is that you would go to it. As you can see, I'm on the Toastmasters International website. I've logged in. I'm on the Pathways page. I'm going to log into my club as the Basecamp manager.
Okay.
Which obviously is something you don't have access to yet.
No, but this will help.
Yes, absolutely. So you can actually, once you've logged in, you can go up to the search bar up here and you can type in your club name. Is he going to do it? Where is it? Oh, maybe I should just do this instead. But you should be able to type in your club name and it should bring up all the members in your club. Maybe I needed to actually hit search. Let's do that. There we go. So it's bringing up everybody that's in the Texans Toastmasters Club. So I can see a list of all the individuals in my club.
Okay.
So if I'm looking for somebody, this is one of the ways you can do it. You can type in your club name, or you can type in the actual person's name. So I'm looking for the president of my club because he's the only other person in my club who's actually logged on.
Right.
And then it'll take me to his profile. And at the top, I can see his transcript. And below, I can see which path he chose. He chose the leadership development path. He's also opened up a tutorial called Explore My Profile, and he's opened up the Navigator, which we talked about, shows the officer resources and the meeting rules.
Yes.
The leadership development path that he has here, I can actually open up his curriculum and see where he's at in that path. So of the 5 levels, none of them have been completed, obviously.
Right.
If I go into level 1, I can see all the projects that are required for level 1, and it's in progress, the first project, the icebreaker project. He hasn't completed any of them, including the icebreaker. Matter of fact, because he's done so little, I'm going to bring up mine because I've gone a little bit further. So again, I'm hitting transcript. I'm doing the presentation mastery. You can see that of the 5 levels, I've only completed 25% of level 1.
Mhm.
There's the icebreaker that's been marked off. Once I get completely done, a button will show up here, just like these buttons, and it'll also have a drop-down arrow, just like these buttons do, and I'll be able to click on View Training Details. So that'll only, in order to get to the certificate, it'll have to be the one for the completion. And I'll be able to click on View Training Details, and then it'll have a link to a PDF file, and it'll say Certificate of Completion.
Okay.
For that level. And so I'll be able to open up that PDF file and print it off, and then take it to the meeting and actually present it to the individual.
Okay, great. Great.
So that's the main demo for this evening. Any questions that you have that have come up recently, or anything during this presentation?
No, not really. I do have a kind of a question that you might be able to answer. I don't want to take too much time here, but if, like right now I'm a VP of membership. Now I know that you can be more than one officer role as long as it's not like president or VP of education, I think, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, generally I would say that most clubs, they would have 7 officers, but if they didn't have enough for 7 officers, they would do 5 officers. And then the officers that are usually combined are secretary with maybe the treasurer and a couple
Like
of the
Sergeant at Arms, maybe with one of those.
right, exactly.
Yeah. My reason for bringing it up is right now our secretary is, well, our VP of Ed is in the middle of he's going through preparing for his wedding. And
exciting.
so there's time that's taken away, so he's, I don't know how much time he's going to be able to spend, doing everything. Mm-hmm. And our secretary just had a baby, so
wow.
Well, his husband of his wife who had the baby, but yeah, so hasn't been really attending. So I'm just wondering if I, was VP of membership and secretary, which would allow me to be, one of the base camp manager backups, and that might, so I don't know. I was just kind of wondering about that. I mean, as far as changing that, how quickly does that take over? Do you know if I was to do that on Toastmasters International?
I think that's something that your club has to come together and decide together, because sure. It's part of your, I want to say it's part of your bylaws that you submit to Toastmasters International, right. Saying that you're going to drop down from 7 officers to 6 or 5. And if you feel like your club is really struggling, then maybe 5 officers is the best way to go.
Yeah, my
That's
concern is just being able to have somebody that, follows the base camp manager, process and procedures and be able to help people, and get things done and taken care of promptly
absolutely.
for everybody, because that's the main job.
Absolutely.
So I don't know that our VP of Ed, he's not going to be super regular probably until April.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's
So I don't know how active he will be. Hopefully in the next week or so, I'll find out, exactly how much he'll be able to contribute in that regard. And then from there, our president, who's, a little new in the officer role, it's not the ideal situation for our club. So I don't know. But anyway, I don't want to digress more than that, really.
Right. So does your secretary or your VP of education, do either of them want to step down from their role at this moment, or are they?
The only one that might, out of those two, would be the VP of education, I think.
Oh, okay.
Just if he's personal life is taking up too much, away from his officer obligations, then maybe. I think our president wants to experience, that role and get a little bit more involved in Toastmasters in the bigger picture, with the networking through the area and division and things like that.
Sure.
I think he wants to get his feet wet a little bit more with that.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, you could always offer to that VP of education and say, hey, if you're willing to step down, I'm willing to take on the role. It's an important role. See what he says.
Yeah.
If he's willing to step down, then you can put it up to a club vote asking if you can step into that position, because it is a very important role. And if the secretary is also out and the president is new and not attending these sessions, then that could definitely stagnate the progress of any new members joining that are forced to use the Pathways program.
Exactly.
Obviously, your existing members can stay on the traditional program, but your new members, as they complete every project, even myself, when I completed that level 1 project, the icebreaker project, somebody actually had to go in and confirm it in order for the others to even become available so that I could actually use them.
Right.
I wasn't even able to open up the next project, which was the evaluation and feedback project. That button didn't even become available until somebody said, hey, yeah, you sure can. She has actually completed her icebreaker. So yeah, I would definitely talk to your vice president of education and your secretary. I don't know which role you're more interested in doing, but yeah, talk to them and talk to your president and the other officers, see what they think, and then bring it to a vote with your club.
Sure. Will do. I appreciate your input.
Absolutely. And I'll see about perhaps getting I may not be able to stay for your entire meeting next week, but maybe I'll stop by at the beginning and just drop off the kit and then take off. So
that would be totally acceptable.
Prepare for this.
But other than that, if I need to drive out and pick it up from you, then that's fine. It's not a big deal to me. It just would have to be just a timing thing for me, which could be spur of the moment. You never know, but it might be something that I have to coordinate a little bit more.
All right, sounds good. All right, well, thank you again, Rob, for attending tonight. And as always, you're welcome to contact me anytime and have your members contact me through the Texans Toastmasters website. Go to the Pathways page and submit their questions, or if they email you, or
I can submit for them if they want. Yeah.
Absolutely, you can submit for them. Absolutely. Thank you very much for attending.
No, thank you. Appreciate you doing it.
Have a good night.
All right, you too, Andrea. Thank you. Bye now.
Bye.